Before the forge, there was the bone breaker. Before laws were written on parchment, they were carved into the muscle of men who survived the cold. Look upon the civilized man. He boasts of his knowledge, his silver, and his soft architecture. He believes he has defeated the wind and the wilderness. He is a fool wrapped in a tapestry. The civilized man has not conquered nature. He has merely built a warmer, larger cage, and then convinced himself that the bars are walls of protection. I have seen empires rise from blood and crumble into dust. The decay never begins with the outer walls collapsing. It begins within the spirit, precisely when men stop relying on the iron in their fists and start relying on the thread of bureaucratic routine. This is the great cold axiom of life. Comfort is the most insidious weapon of all. It breeds dependence, and dependence is not merely a vulnerability. It is the final, fatal definition of weakness. Look at the men who huddle within the stone perimeter. They fear the whisper of the wind outside the gate more than they fear an assassin's blade inside. They call their intricate trade agreements strength. They call their endless scroll-keeping wisdom. I call them cattle waiting for the slaughter. When I sleep beneath the stars, I feel the cold stone of the earth pressed against my back. I smell the wet pine and the immediate, honest possibility of a wolf attack. That immediate danger keeps the sinews tight. It keeps the mind a honed razor. The cities of Hyboria promise safety, but they deliver slow rot. They promise gold, but they demand your spine in payment. A merchant in the media may eat better than a Cimmerian hunter during the deep snows, but the merchant needs the wall and the legion's shield. If the wall falls, the merchant dissolves into whimpering panic. The hunter, however, becomes the apex predator. These walls are not built to keep the enemies out. They are built to keep the raw, demanding truth of survival locked away from those who pay homage to soft routine. I once saw a king, swaddled in silk and bloated on wines from Shem, complaining that the granite paving stones outside his palace were uneven. He summoned 3 guards, men scarred from border skirmishes, to address this mortal crisis. Later that day, a shadow fell over the city, not a hostile army, just a drought. The king's intricate water systems, which he relied upon utterly, failed because a single peasant family upstream diverted a small river flow for their dying crops. The king could not draw water from a well. He had forgotten the simple, brutal truth of the bucket and the rope. He could not negotiate with the peasant. His language was decree, not dirt. His strength was borrowed from his tax collectors and his engineers. When their systems broke, his whole reality fractured. Contrast this failure with the men of the Pictish wilderness. They carry their entire world on their backs. Their strength is not a system. It is their immediate adaptation to the terrain. Their law is survival. The city man's law is paper. And paper burns fast when the drought comes. The decisive moment, the inciting incident of their decay, is always the moment they choose convenience over competence. They invent a machine to lift a stone that could be lifted by 4 strong men. They invent complex scripts to calculate a price that could be calculated in the head of a seasoned horse trader. They believe they are saving effort, but they are spending muscle, spirit, and native intelligence. I was once forced to serve in the guard of an Aquilonian noble. His name was Theron, a man whose hands had never held a weapon heavier than a goblet. One cold winter, raiders from the northern hills, driven mad by famine, bypassed the main fortress and attacked his manor. Theron had automated crossbows, alarm bells, and polished steel armor hanging decorative on the walls. He had every technological comfort known to his age. But when the horn sounded, his trained servants, accustomed to pulling wine corks and adjusting draperies, stood frozen. They looked to the mechanisms, waiting for the system to save them. They waited for comfort to deliver safety. The resistance was not the raiders. It was the soft, thick denial of reality that coated every man in that manner. Theron, sputtering and demanding that his chief steward activate the defenses, could not grasp the simple fact that he was the defense. He screamed, "We are civilized! We have organization!" I looked at him, a bag of fat trembling in expensive velvet, and saw the true antagonism. The great lie of civilization is that complexity equals security. They replace instinct with instruction manuals. They substitute immediate action with bureaucratic procedure. The raiders, savage and simple, moved with the clean, terrible efficiency of wolves hunting sheep. They did not need a flowchart to find the weakest point. They saw the fear in the servants' eyes, the hesitation in their soft bodies, and they saw a door already kicked open. The automation was worthless because the operator was worthless. The polished steel was never meant to taste blood. It was a trophy of a victory they had never earned, a history they only read in books. Their comfort was the poison, slowing their reflexes, dulling their senses, making them incapable of the immediate, ugly fight required for life. My method always is the cold edge of steel and the speed born of necessity. While Theron was demanding reports, I was moving. I took the heaviest sword from the wall, a ceremonial blade too massive for any of his men to wield, and found the servants hiding near the pantry, shivering. I did not offer comfort. I offered them a choice, sharp and immediate. Pick up the wood axes and fight, or die huddled here. They hesitated. That hesitation is the core of civilized frailty. They had been taught their entire lives that someone else would handle the messy parts. They expected a formalized challenge, a duel, a negotiation, anything but the sudden, brutal reality of survival. Their action was paralyzed by the expectation of an easy button. I used the mana not as a defense, but as a trap. I smashed windows to draw the raiders into bottlenecked hallways. I did not rely on Theron's mechanisms. I relied on shadow, surprise, and the instinct I sharpened against the wind and ice of Cimmeria. The method of the barbarian is simple. The solution to every threat is immediate. Disproportionate violence applied directly to the source of the threat. The raiders were beaten back, not by Theron's wealth, but by sheer animal fury and luck. The first light of morning revealed the true cost of their civilization. The manor was splattered with blood and broken wood. Theron emerged from his hidden chamber, dusting off his robes, already speaking of reparations and rebuilding the automatic defenses. He saw the bodies of the raiders and congratulated himself for having the foresight to hire me, the brute he paid to do the messy work. But the revelation was not in the victory. It was in the observation of the survivors. The servants, those who had picked up the axes, though trembling and sickened, carried themselves differently. Their eyes held a harsh, new clarity. They had stepped outside the cage of comfort and touched the raw nerve of existence. The fear was still there, but it was mixed with a potent, intoxicating truth. I did this. I survived by my own hand. Theron, however, was immediately seeking the soft chair, the warmed wine, the return to routine. He learned nothing except that he needed better servants to maintain his weak lifestyle. He looked at the chaos and saw an interruption. The men who fought saw the mirror of reality. Consider the iron used to forge a blade. If the iron is cooled slowly, never hammered hard, never dipped in the violent shock of cold water, it remains soft, a decorative piece, easily bent. Civilization is that slow, comfortable cooling process. It removes the necessity of the hammer blow, the wilderness, the cold, the hunger. These are the smith's hammer and the quenching tank. They introduce the necessary impurities that make steel hard. They force adaptation. Think of the civilized man's mind. It is optimized for complexity, for navigating vast networks of rules and social contracts. It is soft clay. It knows the difference between 37 kinds of cheese, but it cannot read the shadows on a tree line or track a wounded beast through dense undergrowth. It is optimized for the easy life, which means it is utterly helpless when life becomes difficult. The barbarian's mind is simpler, faster, and honed for immediate utility. It knows three things: danger, opportunity, and escape. It is pure, hard granite. Civilization attempts to replace hard skill with soft systems, but systems fail. The ability to endure, to adapt, to act, that is the final unassailable currency. What does this dependency mean for the span of an empire? It means that every golden age carries the seed of its own destruction. The comfort of the father ensures the feebleness of the son. When the men of the South build vast, complicated armies that require 1,000 supplies and 10,000 signatures to move, they celebrate their logistical genius. But when a handful of simple, hungry horsemen strike, those armies seize up like rusted clockwork. The system requires perfect conditions. The barbarian thrives on chaos. The consequence is inevitable ruin. The moment a civilization achieves maximum comfort, it achieves maximum fragility. It has forgotten how to be cold, how to be hungry, and how to kill efficiently with nothing but a chipped stone and desperation. The king relies on the loyalty of his legions, but the legions rely on their steady pay. The pay relies on the smooth trade routes. The trade routes rely on peace. Disrupt one link, introduce one unexpected shock, one plague, one famine, and the entire chain snaps. The barbarian relies only on his own shadow, his sharp teeth, and the cold mercy of the earth. His system cannot break, because his system is simply him. The great challenge facing every soft man is not the enemy at the gate, but the slow, seductive erosion of the self. They ask, how can we increase our defenses? And I ask, how can you increase your hunger? The challenge is to choose the difficult path when the easy one is paved in marble. They build heating systems to avoid the bite of winter. Thus, they lose the fortitude to endure true cold. They stockpile preserved meats. Thus, they lose the skill of the stalk and the hunt. The real mystery is why they insist on viewing this comfortable decline as progress. They gaze back at the raw ages of fire and steel and pity the men who lived then, unaware that those men were hard, free, and capable of handling anything the uncaring cosmos threw at them. They trade mastery over the external world for dependence on a fabricated reality. The civilized man's daily fight is against traffic, paperwork, and social slights. The barbarian's fight is against gravity, against weather, against creatures that wish to consume him. One set of struggles makes you sharp, the other makes you brittle. The ultimate challenge is convincing the brittle man that his comfort is his greatest enemy. The great natural law of the cosmos is struggle. Every leaf reaches for the sun against the crushing weight of the shade. Every wolf runs until its lungs burn. When man exempts himself from struggle, he exempts himself from evolution. He becomes a stalled organism, optimized for an environment that is only temporary. The whole tapestry of human existence is cyclic. The strong men emerge from the wild. They conquer. They establish order. They cultivate comfort. Comfort breeds dependency. Dependency breeds weak men. The weak men cannot defend the order the strong men established, and the order collapses, returning the world to chaos. This is not pessimism. It is astronomy. Empires are stars that burn bright until they consume all their fuel, which is the raw, unadulterated strength of their own people. When the comfort is total, the collapse is total. The barbarians, the wolves, the wind, they simply wait patiently for the soft fruit to drop from the rotten branch. The wilderness always collects its debt. It demands competence. It respects action. When the dust settles and the towers of glass and marble are shards in the mud, the ruins will stand as a monument to convenience. The soft beds will rot, the books of law will dissolve into pulp, and the automated systems will be twisted, silent skeletons. What will remain? the enduring strength of the man who learned to hunt without fire, navigate without a map, and kill without remorse. The knowledge that survival is a direct, brutal negotiation with nature, not a contract signed in a warm room. Look around you. Assess your own walls. Do they protect you, or do they merely hide the wilderness that is still waiting? Do you rely on the system, or on the iron in your soul? The comfort you seek is the rust on your blade. Grind it off. Seek the cold truth of struggle. Go without the luxury you believe is essential, and discover the terrifying, magnificent truth. You are stronger than your environment. Tell me this, men of the soft world. What is the single biggest weakness your comfort has bred in your life? Do not speak of politics or taxes. Speak of the raw, dangerous lack of skill that would kill you if the power lines went down tomorrow.
But I tell you, comfort is a rot. I have witnessed the decline, the softness in men. Comfort has made them weak. They have forgotten the iron path.
You seek comfort, soft men. It is the curse that births your weakness. True strength lies not in ease, but
the comfort of civilization weakens the spirit. Only in struggle and hardship can a man truly find strength.
You seek comfort, and you find weakness. Strength is forged in strife.
You value ease above all? You're weak. The world doesn't care for your comfort.
I have witnessed the decay. Comfort, it breeds weakness, a cancer on the soul of mankind.
You seek comfort, soft men? Comfort births weakness. Face the storm. You seek comfort, soft men, but it is comfort that has made you weak. The wild requires strength, not softness. I have witnessed it. The comfort has stripped them of their strength. They no longer bleed, they no longer fight. They are weak men. I have seen the future, and it is a wasteland carved by comfort. No muscle, no...
The softness of civilization breeds the weak.
Whoa!
Only iron, blood, and the wilderness hold true strength.